Hey, Dethroners! Welcome back to the Dethroning Your Inner Critic YouTube channel. I'm Joanna Kleinman, psychotherapist, empowerment coach, and CEO of the Dethroning Your Inner Critic coaching and consulting company. And I want to ask you a question. Have you ever felt like there is a barrier between you and the life that you know you're capable of living? Now, maybe you're somebody that has experienced some successes, but you still find yourself stuck in cycles of doubt and frustration and just this general feeling of not being fulfilled. So I want you to understand that it is not any of your external circumstances that are holding you back. It is currently the way that your mind is hardwired. Now, this hardwiring is what I call your inner critic. And in fact, it's 95% of who we are right now. 95% of who we are right now is governed by our automatic programmed thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and behaviors. Just think about that for a moment. 95% of how we live our life every day is governed by automatic, programmed thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and behaviors. But here's the good news. You can change your life by committing to doing the internal work to permanently alter how you think, how you feel, and how you act. So I want to explore this further in ways that some of which I've shared before, some of which are new. Okay, we're gonna talk about three major takeaways. Okay, so the first one is that right now, your personal reality is only shaped by your current thoughts and beliefs. Now, like I said, most of us live on autopilot, okay? And what that means is that we're actually letting our past dictate our present reality, okay? Now, let me explain. Generally speaking, we wake up with the same thoughts, we take the same actions, we experience the same emotions. And it's all of those same thoughts, same actions, same emotions are based on what we've been conditioned to believe. Okay. So if you try to change your current personal reality, if you try to create a whole new personal reality, while you're still clinging to your old personality, it's not going to work. Okay. So when you focus on what you consider to be problems or things you want to change, that could be growing your business, that could be changing your finances, it could be tension in your relationships. But when you focus on that area of your life, your actual brain is slipping into hardwired loops of thought. And those hardwired loops create the same emotional responses, like maybe you're in an irritable or low mood. And those emotions create the same nervous system triggers in your brain and in your body. It could be a pit in your stomach. It could be tiredness. It could be certain hormonal responses. Okay. Now, those changes in your physical body and those emotions trigger more of the same thought loops, which triggers more of the same emotions, which triggers more of the same physical and chemical responses. And that often triggers the same behaviors. Now, you've been in this vicious cycle 1,000 times, maybe 100,000 times, okay? You feel like you're focusing on a current issue And you feel like your current issue is the thing that's creating the thought loop. But really, it's just a hardwired thought loop that was created way back in your past, right? And so those thought loops keep creating the same emotional responses. It could be guilt, it could be fear, it could be worry, it could be sadness, it could be anger. These emotions keep conditioning your body to live in survival mode. And that's how most people live their lives day in and day out in their survival mechanisms, and they don't even realize it, right? And then they wonder why, no matter what happens in their life, they can't get out of the same experience of your life. Now, this is why. So the truth is that you are responsible for creating your life through your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, your actions. So if you keep thinking, feeling, and acting the same way, your life is going to stay the same, and it really is just a reflection of your past. It doesn't matter what you create. It doesn't matter what you change. It doesn't matter what goals you reach. You will still keep living into that same old reality. So the truth is that you are responsible for creating your life through your current thoughts, your current beliefs, your current emotions, and your current actions. So if you keep thinking and feeling and acting the same way, your life will stay the same, and it will be a reflection of your past. So it won't matter what goals you reach or what you change. You will still keep looking through the lens that was created by your past. So to create a new reality, you have to change yourself from the inside. You have to be willing to look underneath the surface of your current reality. You have to be willing to dig deeper and ask yourself questions about your thoughts. Like, is this a thought or belief that's actually true? And what evidence have I gathered throughout my life to make me believe that it's true? And how do my emotions and my body sensations and my behaviors and my reactions shift when I believe this thought? And if I no longer believed this thought to be true, who would I be? What would my life be? What new possibilities would open up for my life? And that's the you that you've got to visit every day. See, your life is the single greatest school that you will ever attend. There's always new things that you're going to learn if you can use everything that happens in your life as the teaching tool that it is, particularly the parts of your life that are the most challenging. Now, this leads us to takeaway number 2, which is if you change certain parts of your personality, you change your life. So your mind is malleable. And the beauty of that is that you can rewire it, right? And so when you start to recognize and interrupt the automatic thoughts that stem from your inner critic self, thoughts like, I'm not good enough, or this will never work, you can break the habit of being your old self. As soon as your inner critic hijacks your mind, you can consciously choose to replace those old thoughts and beliefs with thoughts and beliefs that are aligned with the you that you see in your mind's eye and the life that you see in your mind's eye. And that's something that you have to practice every day. It's like going to the gym. If you went to the gym every single day for 30 days and you lifted weights, your body would look different, right? And it's just a function of doing the weightlifting. It is the same thing with using the mind method every day. If you use it, you will change deeply rooted parts of your personality. So I want you to imagine waking up and really seeing that I am no longer that person. I am somebody else. And this is not wishful thinking. This is actually the start of shifting your personal reality. When you stop identifying with your past beliefs, your past limitations, your past based thought loops, your past emotional responses, your past behaviors, right? And you actually do the work to unhook yourself from that day in and day out, your brain and body begin to recondition themselves. So the same situations no longer trigger you. And the moment that you're caught in an inner critic thought loop, you know how to free yourself from the doubt, the procrastination, the overwhelm, the stuckness, the worry, the fear. So that doubt, that anxiety, that worry, the low mood is always going to be there. It's always going to be waiting to suck you back in. Okay. You're never going to permanently eliminate that. It is going to show up, particularly as you're doing your greatest work, because you're stepping outside of your comfort zone over and over and over again. But now you have an experience of feeling separate from the old you. So when those familiar internal rants begin, you know exactly how to interrupt it. Okay. So a lot of people think I need to get the confidence, the courage first, and then I'll be able to take the inspired action to change my life. That is false. That is not accurate. Confidence and courage don't come first. Okay. Your confidence and courage only comes from making a conscious choice that you're ready to truly change your life. Once you know that you're really ready, the next single most important decision to make is the decision that I will keep taking actions outside of my comfort zone without the insistence or the attachment that the unfolding of those actions should produce the results the way that I want it to be, the way that I think it's supposed to go, or the way I think it's supposed to look. Okay. So your insistence equals resistance. In other words, if you insist on your life needing to look a particular way and your actions needing to unfold and create results in a particular way, you are actually blocking the doorways to things that could be coming to you because you're getting in your own way with the assumptions that things are supposed to go or unfold in a certain way. There is no supposed to. Everything that comes to you, and I do mean everything, is exactly there for your growth. But you need to trust that. And so therefore, no matter what happens, you need to learn to go with the flow. Okay. Now I can share with you that my inner critic hijacks me every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. But that is when I use the mind method to get myself back into presence, trust, surrender, and flow. So what has happened, particularly over these last 10 years of using these methods, okay, is that now no matter what happens, I know it always benefits me. So no matter what happens in your life, it always benefits you, always, even if it looks like it doesn't. So why do you have so much insistence that your life needs to go a certain way? Because if it's always benefiting you, then that's the most empowering position that you can have in your life. Because you can trust that you don't have to control it. You can trust that whatever shows up is for you and you don't have to keep suffering. So I'll share with you a story of a woman that just actually completed my previous Mastering Your Mind program. Okay. She had a big vision to grow her personal development business. And she's done a lot of work to start it. She'd been leading workshops to individuals and organizations for a few years before she came into the program. And even though she had created her business, she was miserable when she reached out to me. She had this purpose in her life. She was fulfilling on her purpose, but she was still feeling incredibly stuck, incredibly unfulfilled, and she was waking up into worry, doubt, dread every single day. This woman had a deeply embedded belief that she wasn't good enough. So she believed that she wasn't creating enough value. She didn't know enough about running a business. She didn't have enough education. And those were the thoughts that she woke up with day in and day out for 4 years. So no wonder why she was deeply unhappy. And she also was struggling with some fears around money. So investing in the Mastering Your Mind program for her was a big stretch. Not that it's a huge investment, but for her, this was a big investment. So she was missing out on the experience of making the impact that she knew that she was capable of. Now, that feeling of being stuck kept her from really taking actions to create something different in her life. Okay. So she certainly had inner critic fears, even about investing the time and the money and taking the Mastering Your Mind program, right? She had a lot of fears. What if this doesn't work? What if I spend all this money and invest all this time and I don't see any results? Okay. So she was in this holding pattern and just living the same thoughts, beliefs, frustrations. Okay. So the turning point was when she looked into her gut, into her intuition, right? I asked her, instead of trying to use her mind to make the decision, to really use her heart and her gut to make the decision. And, within like 5 seconds, she knew, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm not even gonna think about it. I'm just gonna do it. So that was a pivotal decision, okay? Because she realized that if she kept making decisions from that old mind, that's her inner critic mind, she was going to just keep staying stuck. Okay. So she took that leap of faith. She invested the money, she invested the time, even though her inner critic kept screaming at her. Now, during the program, she came face to face with these very old beliefs that she had been dragging around with her since she's been 8 years old, and she was completely unaware of this. So here's what I want to share with you about that experience. You take your baggage with you, and you can't outrun your baggage. So whether you're aware of it or not, all of the things that maybe you even thought you dealt with, all of the issues from your past, all of the stuff that's buried in your subconscious, you're dragging it around with you, right? Imagine having this heavy backpack that you carry with you on your back and you don't even know that it's there. So it's not until you make a conscious decision that you're no longer willing to carry that backpack with you. That's the choice to stop and to do the work every day to take that backpack off, to set it down, to leave it at this moment in your life, and to walk forward without carrying that heavy burden. How do you do that? Well, it is deep self-awareness every day, right? Could do that by listening to this podcast, learning about yourself, right? Learning from other experts that can help you understand your baggage at a very deep level. Why you're carrying it around, where it first started, and how it's still impacting you right now. So it's easy to think that you're going to be stuck like this forever, but you just aren't. If you keep moving forward, if you keep doing the work, Your life will change. Good things will come. Your life will take on a whole different trajectory. So what happened for this woman is that by changing the internal narrative about herself and her life and her business, she started showing up differently in every area of her life, not just with her business, her relationship with her husband, her relationship with her children, the way that she took care of her body, the foods that she chose to eat, the way that she chose to move her body, the clothes she would put on. She changed her hair, right? She redid her bedroom. I mean, she literally took on living her entire life from being this new person and taking on a very different part of her personality that she didn't have access to prior to taking the Mastering Your Mind program. So she started taking bolder actions. She started not just speaking to more organizations, but speaking differently about the programs that she offered in a way that she was able to convey the power of what she was delivering, right? So literally by rewiring some deeply held internal beliefs, she became someone else. So this transformation was not about pretending to be someone else. It was about literally becoming someone else. She had to unlearn years of scarcity thinking and negativity. And she stopped believing that money was something that was hard to make and hard to keep and wasn't going to flow to her. She actually started shifting her relationship to money, right? Because she just started chipping away at those old inner critic stories. She stopped thinking the same way, feeling the same way, acting the same way, right? So the rewiring internally had her taking conscious actions. And within 6 months, I am telling you, her entire life was different. She had been hired for 2 HR presentations. She was almost doubling the money that she was bringing in with her personal development programs. Her marriage was different. The way that she structured her day was different. Her body started changing. She lost 12 pounds in the course of the program. She felt fulfilled and empowered and inspired in ways that she hadn't ever felt before. Now, her success didn't come from working harder. It literally came from rewiring her beliefs about what she was capable of, right? Before the program, she and her inner voice were one and the same. She would just listen to that voice all day, every day. She didn't know that she was separate from that voice. So the ability to separate herself from her mind is what had her stop listening to and taking guidance from her inner critic self for the first time ever. And that's when she was able to tune into her authentic self again for the first time ever. That authentic self is the part of her that knew that she was destined for more. Now, that greatness does not mean changing your circumstances first. It doesn't mean making more money. Right? Her experience of her life had nothing to do with making more money or getting hired. It is that she changed inside first, and then the money came. Then the changes came. It's seeing her own greatness that had her make more money and had her get hired. That's a huge difference. And most people don't live that way. The internal shift comes before the outer shift. Now, this is leading us to takeaway number 3, and that is that the future that you are creating already exists. So one of the biggest mistakes we make is waiting for things outside ourselves to change before we feel happy or fulfilled or content. But if you want to attract a new experience into your life, you can't wait for it. You have to become it now. You can't create abundance from a place of lack. You can't keep waiting for those circumstances to change. So here's a mind-blowing truth. Let's talk about our relationship to time. All right. So time is really the separation between the thought of what you want in your life and the experience of having it. So the shorter the gap, the faster your life transforms. Well, let me explain this a little bit. We've been conditioned to believe that time is this linear process. And so the bigger the dream, the longer it's going to take. But time is not the obstacle. The only thing that separates you from your desired reality is the belief that you're separate from it, that it hasn't yet come to you. So to really transform your life, you have to close the gap by changing your state of being in this present moment. Not waiting for the external circumstances to change, okay? Feeling it now, embodying the emotions tied to your desires now. In other words, being so sure that it's on its way that you don't need to worry about it and you don't need to think about it. And all you need to do is take the actions that come like inspiration to you right now. See, your brain will literally rewire itself to align with that new reality. There is a science of collapsing time, okay? And it's grounded in neuroplasticity. Your brain reorganizes itself based on your thoughts and emotions. So when you consistently feel the emotions that are associated with that new life, that are associated with what you're designing, like abundance, like fulfillment, you form new neural connections, which makes those feelings your new reality. That's the D step of the mind method, design your life. So by collapsing time in this way, you draw those desires towards you faster. It doesn't take years, right? That goes back to this woman that was in my program, and her whole life had changed within a few short months because you start living in alignment with what you want now. And that's when new opportunities begin to show up and new people and new circumstances seem to show up out of the blue. It sounds like magic, but it is really based in science. So there are some practical steps to collapsing time. And the most important one is that you embody the emotions of your future right now. You start understanding how to feel abundant, fulfilled, successful now. And then you start learning, how would you act differently when you embody that now? How would you carry yourself differently? You visualize the end result every day. You spend a few minutes every day imagining yourself living that desired reality. You feel the joy. You feel the relief as though you've already achieved it. And again, it's not about tricking yourself. It's really about embodying that belief and knowing it in your nervous system. You make decisions from the mindset of someone who has already achieved that goal, right? How would the future you make your choices today? And you start embodying those qualities right now. That's the power of mastering your mind. That's why I created the mind method. When you stop waiting for your external circumstances to change and you start living in a state of worthiness now, abundance now, seeing it now, your reality shifts. You literally attract opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with your desires. I have seen this firsthand. I can't even tell you how many times, countless times. See, the future version of you actually already exists. And the only thing standing between you and that version of you and your life is your old conditioned mind. So once you know how to tune into a different part of your mind, the life you've been waiting for starts to arrive now. So with my Mastering Your Mind program, you will learn how to rewire your brain. You will learn how to step into a new personal reality. You will learn to break free from the patterns that have been holding you back. And you will learn to create a life aligned with your true desires. So, if not now, when? I am inviting you to take the step today and join me in the next Mastering Your Mind program, which begins this October 2024, because the life you want is already here. And the only question is, are you ready to step into it? So to begin your journey towards your new personal reality, where you feel empowered and fulfilled and in control of your life, let's chat. Let's see if you're a fit for the program. My 12th program is starting this October 2024. If you're listening to this episode at a later date, there's always another opportunity to enroll. If you're ready now, the October program is almost full. So make sure that you get in touch with me. Go to my website, dethroningyourinnercritic.com. Let's schedule some time to connect. Let's see what this program could do for you. Thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see you soon.